Hey there, everybody. New studio, new intro. I'm just here to remind you guys before you listen to today's episode, make sure you follow the show and subscribe wherever you listen. If you watch the show on YouTube, make sure you subscribe there, you comment, you like, and you share. Also, follow my social media, all of it, both Instagrams, my Twitter, follow it all. Your life is to be consumed by my life. Tell everybody that you know about me. Start conversations with the fact that the Smoking Simian is your favorite podcast. Bombard everyone that you know and love with the Smoking Simian. Send them links day in and day out of my show, of the episodes, of my posts. Get thrown out of your house because the only thing that you care about is the Smoking Simian. Do it. Enjoy today's episode. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Smoking Simian on this lovely whatever day I decide to release this. Today I got my man, Mr. Mo Green. Now, before I let you say anything, I have to say the first time I met you, the first thing I immediately thought of was The Godfather. When I heard your name.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you know what I'm talking about? You seen The Godfather?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that shit was hilarious. And then like when I first met you at an open mic, and you had like a Led Zeppelin shirt on, and I had to point that shit out. I was like, it's a black man with a Led Zeppelin shirt on.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yep.
Yeah. So how you doing, man? How you been?
Oh no, I've been good, man. Just just grinding. You know, every Monday I do my open mic and just hitting up mics. I've been doing the comedy so long that I'm not really concerned about hitting up open mics that crazy. I feel like I've established enough of an act so where I don't have to like travel all the time just to hit up free mics and stuff like that. But if you want to get booked, you definitely have to go to different cities and showcase your talent and your ability. If you're trying to get booked somewhere else. But just for like an everyday, I'm hitting this mic in Worcester, I'm hitting this mic in New Haven. Like, nah, I'm not. I'm past that. So it's just I'm focusing on my Monday open mic. And I'm gonna start doing like a bi-weekly show at that particular place that I do my open mic, but on Sundays as opposed to Monday. So just promoting myself, promoting my shows, just working on this craft, you know what I mean? And just sleeping with lascivious women, you know what I'm saying?
There we go. That's part of the game, right?
Yeah.
Now, how long you been doing comedy?
January 20th, 2023, it will be 9 years. 9 years.
9 years. Wow. That's
9 years.
That's, I mean, I started when I was 18 originally. And I'm 24 now, or 25. But I took like this really long hiatus. I was pussy for a little bit.
Yeah.
And to think to be 9 years in, that is like, that alone, regardless of where you are, that alone is like a ton of effort.
Yeah. A ton of discipline and just sticking with it, man. You know, I mean, you've been doing this 7 years on and off. So even though you take a time off, once you start, your time clock starts.
Right.
Your time clock starts. Now, when you stop, you're gonna see people passing you and things of that nature. But once you like hit that stage and start telling jokes and start being a comedian and thinking comedically all the time, your clock starts. Now, how fast you get to your destination, that's on you. But because when I see you up there, I see the poise, I see like the confidence of speaking in front of people. You got good quality stuff. It's just a matter of you just doing it more and more and just shortening your premises and like taking out some of the words. You tend to be wordy. We always wordy when we started. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
But once you start that clock, the clock is started. But it takes a lot. And this business it's grindy, man. You see it. I don't where you from again? Like where are you from originally? Are you from that New London area or?
I'm from Providence, Rhode Island.
You're from Rhode Island. All right. So you're relatively new to this area. Relatively new. You know what I'm saying? You're not from this area, but
yeah.
The more you see it, you seem like a kind of a lone wolf too. You don't seem like the type of comic that's like in everybody's face and trying to be friends with everybody and shit. That was my mistake I made. when I started. I'm just naturally friendly, but if you don't have a certain personality type, that should have devoured. You know what I mean? Like people take kindness for weakness, and they say sideways stuff, and you either got to come out your character, and if you don't come out your character, they say you a punk. If you do come out your character, yo, why you exaggerating? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, but
well,
go ahead.
It's weird because in comedy, you kind of need, you definitely need other comics. Like you can't be, which is, you know, something that I kind of struggle with because me personally in my life, I guess, outside of comedy, it's always been tough for me to like commit to a group. And I find that, you know, the same thing happens with other people. You know, some of us, it's just tough to commit to a group. But the thing about comedy that's beautiful is that a lot of us are fucking weirdos or, you know, whatever. So it's almost like almost anybody fits in if you put the effort forward.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All walks. Your age, it doesn't, like I'm 43. I'm old enough to be your dad. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when I see you, I don't see that. When I see comics, I don't care how old or how young you are. If you've been doing comedy longer than me, I see you as a big brother or a big sister. That's just how I see it. You know, maybe not in life, but in this art form. And if you've been doing it like shorter than me, I see you as a son or a little brother. You understand what I'm saying? But ultimately, until we all hit that fame or, you know, hit that level of success that we're trying to achieve, whether I've been doing it 9 years and you've been doing it on and off 7, we on the same level, man. You know, there's people that just got started and they're hot and they getting booked like crazy. And I might not be getting booked as much, or you might not be getting booked as much. We may have been doing it longer. We may have more skills, but we're still all contemporaries until we get that back. Until you see you on till I could Google your name and was it not in IMDb or Celeb Net Worth, even though that shit's always wrong. But until somebody takes the time to enter you into Celebrity Net Worth of some fictitious finances that you have, we all contemporaries. We all the same, man. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Funny thing about those net worth things, they never take into account like oligarchs in Russia or, you know, the oil barons in Saudi Arabia, because they don't need to talk about their earnings. Yeah, those people got more money than God.
The richest, most powerful people on the earth are faceless. And that I think that attributes to it too. Like, you know what I mean? They hide right in plain sight. Like all those rich sultans. I don't know how clean this show has to be or whatever, but
no, say whatever the fuck
you know,
you want.
like you ever hear of the Dubai porta potties?
No.
Whenever you see like a beautiful Instagram model and it says booking information, that is actually code word that she's a prostitute 9 times out of 10. And what the Dubai porta potties is these cats in Dubai, sultans and princes and stuff like that. They got so much money and they didn't fuck so many humans and beasts, and they get bored. So they pay Instagram models $10,000, 20 G's, 30, 40 G's, whatever. They fly them out, all expenses paid. And the Instagram model, her job is to be a porta potty. You know what a porta potty is?
Sure.
It's something that you take a dump on, you piss on, you do all kinds of crazy stuff, and they totally degrade and humiliate her, make her eat it, all kinds of stuff, have sex with animals.
Damn.
And they give them 40,000, and it's just nothing. Like if somebody gave you, I don't know your financial situation, but I could imagine if you randomly got $40,000, that would help out some things in your life right now.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. I'd burn this building down.
On this level, like that's life changing. For them, that's nothing. I have 40,000. I want to pee. I want to pee on her face and voodoo and shit on everywhere. That's what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? Like, but these are rich, powerful people. We never see their face. So it's like the people that have the most power and the most influence. A lot of them, man, you don't see their face, and they're doing some of the craziest things. Excuse me, with some of the most beautiful women on the planet. That's why when you see all these chicks act arrogant online and stuff like that, you just think in your mind, man. You only acting like that because you assume I don't have anything. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why you're acting like that. Or I don't have the finances to doodle on your face. So it's like you think you're better than me because you look better than me and I'm attracted to you. but I can't afford you. So you're
Right.
looking at me as a lesser person. But how do you look at yourself that you're willing to subject yourself and totally humiliate yourself for some coins? Now, if you're going to do it, that's cool. But don't look down on me just because I can't afford to pay you to shit on your face.
Right. Right. But now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. If Jeff Bezos' wife offered to do the same thing to you, are you taking it?
Yes.
Yeah, right?
No hesitation. I'm not knocking the actions of what these ladies are doing. I'm knocking their I'm above you and I'm better than you attitude and spirit. That's what I'm knocking.
Right.
That's what I'm knocking.
Right after you walk out of the room with Miss Bezos, you're like, she totally shit on my face.
But I'm not going to let Miss Bezos diarrhea shower my face. And then when I'm done, be like, yo, y'all niggas need to get on my level. Y'all need to step y'all game. What are y'all doing, man? I can't fuck with y'all motherfuckers. If you're trying to get it, you got to be out here, man. Y'all motherfuckers is immoral, and y'all ain't following the Christian, and y'all don't got no morals. Excuse me, that's a little dookie from her shitting on my face. But anyway, as I was saying, like, that's all I'm saying. I don't knock sex work. I actually encourage it. You know,
sure.
If you're young and you got a beautiful body, male or female, and you see this as a means of capitalizing and making some finances, obviously you can't do it forever. It's just like drug dealing when you're young. You can't do it forever. But if you're going to do it as smart as you possibly can. Stack up that money, and then by the time you're at a certain age where you don't have the looks or the drive to do those types of activities, you will have put away enough to start up any type of business or whatever it is that you want to do. You sacrifice, you humiliate yourself when you're young, and then you do, you know what I'm saying? And then once you're done with that, you move on, you transition, you elevate to something greater, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know, though. There's a pretty decent MILF market. There's some ladies that can do it. They can do it later on.
Now, if you one of them, you one of them like older ladies, you had a husband till he's like 50, 60 years old, and y'all divorced, he died or something like that. And he didn't really leave you with nothing financially, and you trying to figure out what to do. You don't know what to do. And there's a whole market for MILFs. You can make a lot of money in a quick amount of time. I'm talking about 90-year-old women. I'm not even talking about 50, like actual sex. I'm talking about decrepit. I'm talking about one foot in a casket. I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? They got mothball lotion. I'm talking about that type.
Yeah. double hip replacement.
Yeah. So if there's a market in the sex industry, man, you think about there's probably a market. There's probably a market of OnlyFans of a dude with a bald head and a beard that just smash watermelon on his face and just speak gibberish. Yeah. And that's all he do. And he's making millions of dollars doing that shit. You know?
Yeah.
But see,
we're over here trying to get good at comedy.
Well, because we just have different ethics. I'm not even gonna put, like I said, I'm not gonna put sex work down. We just have different ethics. Like our ethics or our code won't allow us to monetize sexuality.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or at least I can't speak for you, but I'm speaking for myself. So that's what it is, until something changes in our brains to find that acceptable. Like, yo, you know what? Fuck it, I'm about to sell dick. Until we get to that point, that's how we feel ethically. Our minds, we're not wired like that. Like, I'll mess with some sex work. I'll mess with some hoes. Hell yeah. All day. But when I try to turn it into a job and making money, it's just, you're already taking a risk. You're already taking a risk when you smash hoes. That's a risk already. Like, we get that. But when you smashing holes for money, when you involve money with the shit, that's just more issues and problems that you potentially have to deal with. She's trying to rob you. She's trying to get over. They're gonna set you up. The cops gonna bust in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, alone, like, just messing with the whole loan. You got to mess with. You got to deal with potential baby daddy, potential disease, potential false sexual assault accusations, whatever. There's things that come with that, right? 4 or 5 things that you got to worry about. But when you add money to it, you done added 10 more things that you got to worry about.
Yep. It's funny how in other countries, sex work is like not only accepted, but it's like part of the community. It's part of what brings people to the area. Like I was saying, in
Thailand, Brazil, those kind of places.
Yeah, big time. Or even just the culture in other, in France and Europe, where you can, ladies go on the beach with fucking titties out. Men are out there with little skimpies going swimming. Like, it's just super open in those other countries. We're here for
And
whatever reason. Everyone,
nobody's bugging out about it. It's just like whatever. Like,
yeah,
I feel like United States. This is the only place where like it's weird because we overly promote sex, right?
yeah,
But then we demonize it at the same time. So it's very confusing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're fine with
this is the Me Too movement era, but slash the slut shame, the promoting of the slut era at the same time. So those things, those things are in opposition of each other.
Yeah, I mean, we're fine with sex as long as we're selling something with it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we'll get into comedy influences in a minute. But one of the guys that I listen to all the time, is Bill Hicks.
And
He had a great joke where he's talking about porn and the way that the Supreme Court describes it is something with no artistic merit, but induces sexual thoughts. And he's like, isn't that every commercial on television?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like basically, in not so certain terms, that's basically what he said. And he goes on, whatever. He's a master. But it's just funny that, like we're saying, only recently has it become more accepted here.
I think a lot of that too is just the advent of social media and the fact that we all have camera phones, and you know what I'm saying? Like we're all inside each other's heads and inside each other's lives a lot closer than any time in history. So
right.
the random freaky people, that had no way of expressing and showing that shit, or it took a while to upload to do whatever. They got this now, bro. So it ain't nothing for them to just like I'm about to just do this video, just masturbate and just put this up. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? So I think technology has a lot to do with the effervescence of all these images and things to that nature that we see from a sexual carnal standpoint.
Yeah. All right, everybody, we're back. If you're watching on YouTube, Mo's got a different background. We're doing something a little different, I guess. We got some technical difficulties. It's okay. We're working through it.
I could change that though.
So what was the background before? The background was like a picture of you?
It was I have a podcast called The Momentary Podcast.
Okay, got you.
And it was just a picture of
looked like a young man.
And momentary. That's all it was. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing crazy like that. Yeah. That's where we at.
But yeah. So before everything went black,
it's crazy.
We were we were talking about
sex work,
how
right?
social media. Mm-hmm. What's that?
Sex work, right?
No. We got to we were talking about social media and how it's a double-edged sword for people like us, because or anybody that wants to do something with media, or anybody that has a business in general that can use social media to promote it. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a big avenue for people who really care about their craft and they're really trying to put work in, and they can now get noticed without a big company behind them or an entertainment deal or any of that shit.
Right.
But the double-edged sword to that is that there's a lot of room for garbage too. Like we get. We're subject to a lot of shit.
It gives a voice to the voiceless. It gives a voice to the meaningless. You understand?
Right. The people who maybe could do without a voice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Now, when you started comedy 9 years, 9 years ago is what?
2014.
2000.
Yep.
Okay. So at that point, was social media as important as it is now when it came to promoting comedy and that type of thing?
I didn't even know. Back then, I was just trying to get some stage time. So it helped as far as building my network of comedians that I knew. But at the time, I didn't know anything about promoting shows. I didn't even know how to get on a show. So at that time, for me, it just served as a means of just knowing where to go to do comedy,
Right.
And then like a year after that, once I started promoting shows, then obviously it benefited that way too. I mean, like people try to shit on social media and things of that nature. but it's just a tool, just like anything else. And the tool itself isn't bad. It's how you use it, right? So yeah, when I first started, I just use it as a tool, just to figure out where stuff is, and just to like build up my network of different comedians or whatever. But it's still, eight years and some change. It's really not that long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Facebook been around since what, 04. And there's been stuff before that. You know what I mean? Like Yahoo groups and things of that nature. So it wasn't as prevalent as it is today. Like now, back then you only had Facebook just popped off. Before that, right before that, you had MySpace, you know what I mean? And then you had like different dating sites like Black Planet, Miente, and Soul Swipe and all that bullshit. but
eHarmony.
But Facebook just wasn't a juggernaut that it is. And the smart thing that Facebook does is whenever there's some type of popping technology or popping app, they just buy the motherfucker. Like they bought Instagram. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like remember when they had the what was the thing with the 6-second videos? What was that name of that shit? The
Vine. Yeah.
Once Instagram destroyed that shit, because they went from 6 minutes and they did 20 seconds to 1 minute. They gave you like different options. It's like you can do everything that Vine can do, if not more. So why do we need Vine anymore? And Facebook peeped that shit. So fuck it. Facebook bought it. So if you notice, if you look at Facebook and Instagram, they pretty much all got the same capabilities. Like as far as you can do reels, you can do stories, you can go live on both of them. But obviously Instagram is more for the images, and Facebook is more personal. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah.
It's I did an episode a little while ago about how it's kind of funny how we're all okay with our information being sold as long as we got somewhere to, fuck around on. We can put pictures, we can have our opinions and that type of thing. But we're kind of, we turn a blind eye when it, like we all know Facebook and Instagram and all that shit, the big social media platforms. Mm-hmm. We all know that they're selling our stuff. It's not even in the news. Nobody cares about it. But when a small app like Grindr, are you familiar with Grindr?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not because I use it, but because I in the know.
Yeah.
No.
Right. They were in the news recently because they actually admitted to selling people's information. They were selling the information to like local areas where you would meet somebody on a date or venues that you would attend with a date, a bar, a restaurant, a hotel. People were getting pop-ups, in the area. So it's funny because not nearly as many people use Grindr as they do. 4 billion people use Facebook.
Yeah.
There's 4 billion users on Facebook. Well, there's probably half of them that are Russian bots, but it's, it's not even close. So it's just funny that we trade off that little bit of privacy as long as we're able to fuck around on a platform somewhere.
Yeah. I could imagine, because you said they illegally sell like gay people's information. I can imagine like some shady Italian. You know what I'm saying? You say, listen, man, I got some information. I'm going to sell. These fucking fairies. It's right in my briefcase. You want to take a look at it? It's a dossier right over here.
Yeah. You ever watch The Sopranos?
Of course.
Who's the guy? Vito Spatafort, the one who ends up being gay.
Yeah. You know what? I like Vito, man, and I felt sorry for that whole situation, man, because to be in that macho atmosphere, but to have those feelings, you understand, and to constantly have to put on the mask and pretend like you're something that you're not. I felt for him. You know what I mean? Like that was. Yeah. I like Vito, even though he was a killer. But I like Vito, and it was sad to see him, go out the way he did, But yeah, you're right.
And it was interesting in the show because of, that show's obviously fucking phenomenal, and the character development, the whole thing. But it was funny how at the beginning, once there were first like allegations, Tony was kind of being reasonable. He's like, all right, I understand in our community, I'm Italian, so I get it. Italian people have weird prejudices, and one of them is gay people. So they're all, all the guys are like, yeah, we should, drag him by the truck and cut off his dick and all this stuff. And he's like, but hold on, I get this. I get our culture. But at the same time, he's just gay. Like, who gives a fuck,
Yeah. He's not hurting anybody. He can't control how he feels. You know what I'm saying? He was just born in an Italian. He was born a man in a hardcore Italian neighborhood where that's just no, and he didn't have any control over how he feels. Now, one thing I will say though, just because you feel a certain way, it does not mean you should always act on your feelings. You understand what I'm saying? And that's a whole different debate. I don't want to get into it too deep, but just because you're inclined to do something doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it. Like sometimes I want to slap my mother or some shit like because she pissed me off, but I don't do it just because I'm inclined to do it. So an inclination is not a justification for actions. It could be a reason why you do it, but that won't hold up in a court of law though. You know what I'm saying? Like you still have to have self-control. Now, like, if you want to sleep with a man and you're both having a consenting relationship, that's what you want to do, that's fine. But just because you're inclined to do something does not mean that you have to do it. And that does not define who you are. Like who you are is not just thoughts. It's a combination of thoughts and it's a combination of in concert with action. You know what I mean? And not every thought that we have is our thought. There's subliminal messages. There's always people that they're always throwing shit out there. So you might have gay thoughts. So whatever, a crazy ass thought. And you think, well, damn, the Bible says if you think it, you might as well do it. But not every thought is your thought. You could be asleep right now or in your dream sleep. And I could play like the Beach Boys or something like that. And then your brain, while you're sleeping, you'll hear, wouldn't it be nice if we grew older? Then we wouldn't. You hear that shit. So you're like, damn, I like the Beach Boys now. I'm a fucking Beach Boys fan. No, you're not. Somebody was playing this shit while you were like in an impressionable mind state. And that's just a small level, right? That's a small example that I can prove. Yeah. So who's to say they're doing that shit on a greater example with a lot of things influencing us to make certain decisions, whether it's who we sleep with, what we like to eat, what we choose, X, Y, Z. The shit is fucking deep, man. You know what I mean? It's deep, though.
Yeah. Well, that's why, I mean, we go back to social media. We have more information as humans than we ever have, ever. So the point that you made about not all your thoughts are technically your thoughts. Some thoughts are influenced, and it's tough for people who have, whatever it is, some kind of mental health struggle to like decipher between them because you think it's your thought because it's in your head, and there's plenty of other times where you think something and you're like, I definitely thought that, but did you? Yeah.
Well, this is the way I do it, man. This is how I break down if the thought is really from you or if it's from an outside source, man. The first law of nature is self-preservation. So your body is always trying to preserve itself in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So if a decision or thought that you're trying to do is ultimately eventually going to lead to your destruction, that's not coming from that doesn't adhere with the rule of self-preservation that naturally comes outside of you. So obviously that's an outside source. You know what I'm saying? Now you still have to make the decision to accept that and to go along with that. But I think that gives just more comfort. Like if you got these crazy, I feel like killing a baby or just something crazy, and it just makes you feel bad about yourself, or whatever. I think once you realize that not all thoughts are your thoughts, and like I have a Bible foundation, even though I don't believe in the Bible, but I will quote scriptures every now and again. But in the scriptures, it says we're not wrestling with flesh and blood. We're wrestling with like these spiritual, invisible things. You understand what I'm saying? Like we're wrestling with things that we can't see. But if you understand like the rule of self-preservation, and if what you're trying to do is, or what you're thinking about doing will ultimately destroy you, that's not from you. That's some outside source that's trying to get you to destroy yourself, tricking you to make you think that it's you, so that you go out and do whatever it is that pops inside your head. But you have to have the wisdom and the understanding to grasp and comprehend that. You know what I mean? When you make your decisions,
Right. Now, what about a scenario when somebody is doing something that started off as something they really, really enjoyed and something they really wanted to put a lot of time into, but over time they've become absolutely obsessed, which again is a double-edged sword. You find a lot of success stories on the other end of that obsession, but for some people it ends up being a detriment. Like the guy, I don't know when it happened, but recently this guy got He exercised all day, every day. He got down to like 0.2% body fat and died.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well,
you know.
go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, like, that's an example of.
And with that,
yeah.
And that may not necessarily be going against the first rule of nature, but another rule is just about having balance. It's about having balance. You understand? I mean, I don't know which rule that is. I'm sure I just know the first rule. I always say the first rule of nature. I don't know the second rule. I don't know the third rule, but I always hear that the first rule of nature is self-preservation. But that might be some type of rule. There needs to be some type of balance. Like, I can drink this water. This is good for my kidneys, blah, blah, blah. But if I keep gorging, I'll get water poisoning. You understand what I'm saying? So, So that's another thing too. If you're doing things okay, if it's not going to destroy you initially, but if you overindulge or you have too much excess, then you are going against the concept of balance. You know?
Right. Well, that's, I mean, I've been a martial artist my whole life, and that's like the main premise, right? Balance. It's the not only physically, but you read any samurai texts or texts from Eastern philosophy and that type of thing. It's all balance. Like one of the greatest warriors ever was Miyamoto Musashi. The book of the Book of Five Rings. Book of Six, one of them, and he talks about all the things that you need to, keep a balanced way. And whatever your game is, for them, it was being a samurai. Yeah, you got to know how to use your sword and fucking, decapitate people and do all this shit. But you also got to know how to write. You got to know how to read. You got to know how to train a horse.
A lot of them are scholars. You got to farm, whatever.
Yes. Yeah. So it is interesting. Right. It's interesting that, something that was thought of maybe for the first time ages ago, decades and decades ago, still works or still translates to today,
Because logic and truth and like math, it never changes.
Yeah.
It never, like when you look at the stars and shit like that, we tell time by like celestial bodies. Like some things just never change. And it's always going to reign true. Like, yes, we may have more technology. Shit, 100 years from now, we might be telepathic and time travel and all that shit. But the basic fundamental things of reality never change. And balance is one of those things,
Right. You said math when you were talking about things that stay constant. I don't know. I mean, we're different generations, but when I was a kid, I would always sit down with, my mom or somebody to help me with my, homework. And they'd be like, this is that new math, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
and I'd have a teacher.
What it is it's different ways to get the same result, different paths.
Right.
It's different ways to get it, but the math itself at the core doesn't change. Just different ways of getting there. It's not even about different ways changing. It's just about people discovering different ways to come to the same conclusion. But ultimately, the math don't change. 1 through infinity doesn't change.
Yeah. But it'd be funny because I'd have a teacher, I think it was in middle school, Miss Fox. She'd be like, it's the same fucking math. It's been the same math for ages. It's just like you said, different ways to get it. Yeah,
just different ways of getting to the destination, but, in the 1800s, we had dirt roads, and now we got the motherfucking internet highway. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, to go back kind of on being able to put out whatever we want, whenever we want. You're great with the media on Instagram. You're always putting new little clips, which is awesome.
Got to.
Yeah. And we were talking about a podcast. We're obviously, doing one in case you didn't notice. So you said, but before we started, you said you do what? You had a couple podcasts?
Yes, I have one podcast. It's called the Light Skin Perspective. And it's
okay.
It has nothing to do with being a light-skinned black person. It's just me and my co-host. We're both bald-headed black light-skinned guys with a perspective. And in the black community, the whole light skin versus dark skin is a very it's a touchy thing. So it's basically clickbait. You understand what I'm saying? But we just talk about the news, pop culture, like every other freaking podcast. And then but we do that podcast sporadic. Like we haven't done it in like a month. And I got my other podcast called the Momentary Podcast. Instead of commentary, it's momentary. It's momentary. It's a play on my name. And the same thing with that. You know what I'm saying? That one I pretty much I run solo, and every now and again I'll bring a guest, but I haven't done that one in a couple of months. So yeah, you got it with this comedy stuff. In this particular age, it's not enough to just do stand-up comedy. You gotta master social media. You have to have an understanding of video editing. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a little understanding of marketing. That's just, if you want to compete in this shit, it's just what it is. I never thought I would have this makeshift studio with the microphone, the computer, and the camera and all this shit, man. But I bought this after COVID, man. Like when COVID happened, you know, I had the laptop already, but the microphone and everything else, yeah. The market dictates what you have to do to survive in it, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point, because so many years ago, comedy was you do a bunch of sets all the time, and you hope you get a good spot somewhere.
Get on a festival like Just for Laughs. If you get on Just for Laughs, you're gonna get like some type of TV deal. But that it still exists, but that's not the only path anymore. We can get on just like how me and you doing. We have some good podcasts and cut up some good clips and constantly putting out content. We could just blow up like that. Like I recently put on my TikTok. Got 1,400 followers. But this is the crazy thing. 4 days ago, it was only at 850.
Wow.
But big jump. What I do is I don't only put up my content. I listen to a lot of different YouTubers like on dating and stuff like that. And like different pimps and shit. So with the one pimp that I listen to a lot, his name's Sinful the P. Sinful the P is a beast. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'll hear like a crazy quotable like for like 30 seconds. And I'm like, oh shit. I download the video, I cut out the quotable, I give him his credit, and I put it on my TikTok to spread and share his message. And one of the videos that I shared, the shit was so off the chain that, you know what I'm saying? I got like 600 followers in like 2 or 3 days, you know? My TikTok is connected to my YouTube. My YouTube only got 400. And I've had my YouTube since 2009. YouTube is hard to get that shit started, but that's the one that actually makes the money. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But see, my TikTok done blew up. Not blew up, but by my standards, I got 600 followers a couple of days. It did pretty good. And now I do a call to action. I'm telling people, yo, subscribe to my YouTube because it has all my content, my gaming, my food reviews, you know what I'm saying? My rants and all that stuff. So you gotta use all this stuff, man. Only one I don't like Twitter, man. You know why? I added like 2 or 3 porn stars by accident, and that's all I see is porn. Like sometimes I'm trying to be focus-minded, and like getting on my computer and trying to get work done is so difficult if you're a porno addict, man. It's so difficult.
Yeah.
So you try to be good and you try to make a little tweet, and all you see is pussy and dicks fucking and shit. So and Twitter, and then like, you know, the limited amount of characters. Maybe I got to start like a new Twitter and just make sure I add no porn stars. My ex-girl told me to do that. I just haven't done it yet. But I think I'm gonna do that. But you got to use Snapchat. I don't fuck with it all. I don't mess with Snapchat. Because years ago I used to work at this restaurant, right? Bar Taco, West Hartford, called Bar Taco. This bad chick. I saw her. She broke up with her boyfriend at the restaurant. He left or whatever. And I saw her come a couple times after that or whatever, a few days after. And I got to talking to her, and she acted like she was interested. She's like, I'm gonna give you my Snap. She didn't want to give me her phone number. And at the time, I didn't know how Snapchat worked. So I'm texting her throughout the day, like saying sweet nothing, and she would text back. But then all the messages was deleted. So it's like I can't even recap. So I don't even know what I said to this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. And why won't you give me your phone number? And every time the conversation get juicy or we getting somewhere, the shit gone. Like now I know you can change the settings to keep everything. But at the time I didn't know it, and it just put such a bad taste in my mouth. No, I don't fuck with Twitter like I'm not Snapchat like that. I don't fuck with Twitter like that. And that's pretty much Tumblr and all that.
Yeah. There's only so much. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You hear like you hear Gary V, and he's like, you got to put 10 pieces of content on every social media platform you can fucking find every day, all the time. And it's like, all right, I mean, it makes sense. If you do that, you'll probably blow up quicker than you would if you didn't. But I mean, Jesus, who wants to live on social media that way? We already have to do it because of our game. But if it was up to me, if I didn't have this podcast and I was like a carpenter or some shit, I'd have no reason to have social media, and I'd be completely fine with it.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely, no, definitely not. You're absolutely right. But like I said, so it's a tool, just like anything else, and it's a matter of how you use it. If it's causing depression in you or stress and anxiety, just get rid of that shit. But if you can responsibly use the tool, and then hey, by all means. But yeah, you gotta put out that content. I don't know about 10 a day on every platform. That's a bit much, but you do got to make it a point to at least on one, like at least TikTok. I try to put up one TikTok a day. You got because when you stop, like you get lost with an algorithm. Like people stop, and then people just stop checking for you. If there's a YouTuber that you like or somebody that you watch, if they stop dropping content, you'll stop visiting their page.
Yeah,
you've consumed everything. Unless you want to go back and rewatch some stuff, but this is the age we live in, yo. Like if this is what you're trying to do, if you're trying to be an entertainer, I like social media. I can get why people don't like, but when it's the good of it, I think social media is awesome. Look at what we're doing right now. I didn't have to drive over to. Yeah, we had a couple of technical difficulties, but it's working right now. Look, I saved. Look at gas is $5.05 a gallon. I'm not saying that's not why I didn't come, but I just got some stuff to do around here. But you know what I mean? My podcast partner lives in Los Angeles.
Right.
So sometimes we need this technology, man. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean it can definitely be used for good.
Yeah, for sure.
Now,
but it seems like it's mostly used for bad.
Yeah.
The porno industry, man. Listen, man. If you do a history of like my internet searches in the last 10 years or 15 years, I think 95% is porn searches. And 85% of that is X videos, man.
Right.
It's just
that's the biggest one. Did you know that? X videos is the biggest one.
Yeah,
that's the biggest one.
It's insane. There's other ones like X videos don't got all the same videos that Pornhub does, or there's another one called fuck.com, but it's spelled F-U-Q. That one's pretty good too. Because that like connects all the search engines, but yeah, different search engines have different porn. So you might not see Bella Spice on this search engine, but you'll see her over there. It's bad that I know that. It's bad
it happened. Right. One thing I wanted to tell you about Twitter, maybe it'll bring you back to it. Now they have this thing. I forget what it's called. Let me look at it. But you can start a room. Spaces, Twitter Spaces. You can start a room with a bunch of people. Let's say a bunch of comics, and everyone's bouncing ideas off each other. But it's live, and people can listen to it. It's like Clubhouse, when Clubhouse was a thing. Now Clubhouse doesn't exist anymore. But that's what it is. It's interesting. I mean, I've listened to it here and there.
I'm going to get into it. I think what I really have to do, I mean, obviously I'm going to keep my main Twitter, but I have to start just another one and only just add comedians and like business and things of that nature. Just so because I have a short attention span as it is. And when I log in my computer and I just see some titties and some shit like that, I'm done.
It's game over.
I'm done, man.
It's game over.
I gotta get the demons out my body and my mind, man.
It doesn't even need to take that. It doesn't even. You see, like you're watching a show and you see a woman, you're like,
and they say something, and it just like I wasn't even thinking about that. They just put me in a mode, and I'm looking at my computer. I'm like, I got. But the key is like, I mean, if you're gonna release, you're gonna release. But the key is to sometimes resist that, or the energy that you have, the inclination to do the pornographic or whatever, like carnal shit you're trying to do. The energy is still there. Just transmute that energy and do something else productive. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or tell yourself, you know what? I'm gonna beat my meat, but first I'm gonna balance this checkbook. I'm gonna beat my meat, but first I'm gonna name these videos, like these clips I put up. I'm gonna beat my meat.
Yeah.
This is funny as fuck. I'm gonna beat my meat. But first I'm gonna prep dinner. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, the desire is always gonna be there, the inclination. And this is something that I'm working on. This is some psychological shit that I'm working on. You know what I'm saying? But it's always going to be there. So how can you use that for your benefit? Just give yourself the point or whatever it is as a reward, but you can't have the reward until you finish the productive thing that you have to do. And you're horny all the time. You think about sex all the time, right? So if you always think about sex and you use the rule that I can't please myself or do pleasing or whatever, whatever you're into, I can't do that until I accomplish a task that I have to accomplish. Think of how much shit you'll get done with that mindset. And that's called the transmutation of sexual energy. He didn't really break it down like this, but the more I think about it, this is like my own version. I think it's in the book of Think and Grow Rich, and I forget the name.
Napoleon Hill.
Huh? Yeah,
Napoleon Hill.
And one of his chapters was transmutation of sexual energy. And he was kind of vague about it, but I get it though. Basically, in layman's terms, it's saying if you feel that sexual urge, just do something else productive first before you take care of it. And here's a cool thing too. A lot of times you have the sexual urge, and then you start doing whatever productive thing that you have to do. Eventually, the urge goes away.
Right.
So you was feeling all riled up, and you might have cleaned your room. The urge is gone. Now your room is clean. Now you're not even thinking that you're not as stressed out no more, because having a messy room, that's some stressful. Like I can see by your couch, you seem like you're pretty clean, but that's some stressful shit. Like I'm not the perfect neat freak. Like you can see my stuff back here. I'm not perfect, but I keep stuff in relative order, as far as but there's no trash. It doesn't stink. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. But like I said, when I have that drive or that inclination, I do something positive. And sometimes the feeling goes away and I got stuff done. And other times I got stuff done and I reward myself with the bullshit I wanted to do. But the point is, things still got done. We got to use our fucked up desires to get good shit done. We can trick ourselves. We can transmute shit to get stuff done, man. It's possible,
Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy you brought up that book, because it sounded like that's where you were going. I was going to bring it up. But an interesting part of that chapter is how he talks about how those desires, those sexual desires, not only can you transmute them, like you're saying, and put it towards something else, but he brings up a lot of examples of powerful men and powerful people that did things based on the influence of their woman. Just because they loved a woman in whatever way, I think I vaguely remember him talking about Napoleon Bonaparte, who had a woman, I guess he was in love with, and said that was his main motivation to do anything. Yeah. So, and then another cool chapter in that book is, or it might have been a section, I don't know what exactly it was, but when he's talking about some of the best things that we can do come at a later age in our life. And I feel like it's so important to say, because people put a timestamp on things. Yeah. If I don't have this by the time I'm 35, I'm a fucking loser. I'm going to quit. I'm going to do something else. Yep. When in actuality, he lists all these different people who did their best work when they were 50 years old. 50, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with Kevin Samuels, but the recent controversial YouTuber relationship guy, he died, found his success. He died recently. Huh? Say again? He died recently, yeah? Yeah, but he was 56. He just came into his millions. You understand? Yep. And he died of a heart attack. But I think Rodney Dangerfield didn't really blow up as a comedian, even though he quit a couple times. He could have blew him earlier. But until he was like 56, Bernie Mac didn't really get on the map until he was 50. Now, if you can have success earlier, I would say try to achieve that, because we don't live forever. Like Charlie Murphy, he wasn't even 60 when he died. You understand what I'm saying? So you want to try to get a level of success and be able to enjoy it while you physically, healthily can. You know what I'm saying? Right. But if you don't get to that point, like you see me, I lost like 50 pounds, man. I'm taking care of myself. That's awesome, man. Patrice O'Neal, is one of we're going to talk about comedic influences later, but that's my main comedic influence. He died 2 months before his 42nd birthday. And I'm going on 44. He had type 2 diabetes. I think he had type 1. Yeah, because he had it since he was young or whatever. Whatever, he had diabetes. Anyway, I was diagnosed as a diabetic. I was teetering for years. There's a number called A1C. And basically A1C it's like your sugar levels in your blood. And I think normal level is between 4.7 and 5.7, something like that. 5.8, you're pre-diabetic. Anything over 6.4, you're diabetic. I was at 5.8 for a minute, and then I went up to 6.4 for a while. So I was right there. And then my last 2 visits before this last one, I was at 6.5. So I was labeled a diabetic. And I'm looking up, there's no reversing it, but I think there's no reversing type 1. But anyway, I asked around and did some, asked some nurses and things of that nature. And it's like, if you just lose weight and get in shape, you can reverse that number. And sure enough, from December until now, I'm down almost 20 pounds, right?
And that 6.5 number dropped. Damn it if it doesn't drop to a 5.8. Cholesterol down. You know what I'm saying? Everything is down. You know what I mean? Blood rate, blood pressure, all that shit. Everything is. But you gotta preserve this thing, especially me as an older man. And I want to enjoy success. Listen, man. I want to enjoy the groupies for at least a year. I want to be able to enjoy it. I'm not saying I want to do it forever, but I want to experience that. Like us as men, I don't know, what your story is growing up, as far as like with the ladies and stuff like that. But we as men in general, we get rejected all the time so fucking much. And all we do is we're being nice and trying to holler at the ladies. We go through so much pain and hurt and rejection. To be in a position where they're coming at you constantly and you are the rejecter, I want to experience that. Just for like a year.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying I gotta fuck all these hoes, but I'm just saying I want to see how it feels to be a woman.
You can't. There's technology now. You can do that.
Yeah, you're right. I'm saying without going through the Dr. Nip Tuck. You know what I mean? The whole concept. But these chicks is coming at. Like I said, I do my thing. I got shorties here and there. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I was rich, or famous or had some notoriety, I already know like it would be like on a whole different level. But
you can shit and piss on them.
For me, the rate that I'm going, they say it takes 10 years to really get established in comedy, right? I'm at 8 and some change. Yes. I'm beyond free. You can't hit me up and get booked for free. Motherfuckers know not to do that shit. I'm not saying I got the biggest price, but I've graduated beyond the point of, Mo Green, you want to do this free gig? Nah, don't insult me. I done put myself in too much debt and put myself in too much danger and spent too much time and had too much pain and heartache on that stage to just do this shit for free anymore. By request. Fuck that. If I'm gonna go to a mic or if I choose to do a guest spot, that's different because that's my personal choice. But for people to reach out to me and they just look at me like I'm some free ass mofo, nah, fuck
right.
That. Yeah.
Hey, you gotta name your price, so they'll name it for you, right?
Yeah. In business, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate, man. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
To go back on what you were talking about being able to have the women come to you, I think that's why men love strip clubs so much, because the game is flipped. The game's flipped. Any other time.
To an extent. Yeah, well, because it's still them judgmental strippers. They'll just kind of look at your appearance and just assume that you're broke and not even effort.
Right.
So, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, because guys can, I have spent not a lot of time at all in strip clubs. I've been to a strip club once, before I was in a relationship and whatever else. But I can see why so many men spend so much time in those places, because, like I said, it's the script is flipped. You can say, "Nah, I'm good," or some other woman comes up to you that you like better, right? Kind of the same way that women do that with men, and you could say, "Yeah, I'll take that one." It's like you're fucking car shopping.
Isn't it kind of like, I know it's the game and it is what it is. Isn't that kind of fucked up though? Imagine you like a chick, beautiful chick, your booty cheeks is out or whatever, but the chick next to you got the bigger ass. Yeah, but y'all in this clubs trying to get money, and it's just men like, yes, you, nah, I'm good, you. But that's what, as men, that's what we deal with every day, all the time.
Right. Yeah.
I can't imagine a woman going through that. Like that's. And that's why like maybe a lot of strippers are a little more callous. You know what I mean? Because they have to deal with they're being treated like they're on some type of auction block. But that's what we as men go through too.
Yeah, very true. Except I think we probably are expected to do a lot more than shake ass.
Yeah, of course.
So even in that,
you ever see the videos? You ever see the videos with the male strippers with the female bachelorette parties and shit? Them women worse because men won't touch a strip club pretty much, or those type of environments. And women, they just be all over the dudes, just grabbing them. You know what I mean? Like it's like a whole. You ever see the scary movies like when they be going through like a corridor and like all the dead body ends be coming out? Like that's how the women be at the bachelorette parties with the dudes, man. And I be wanting to be there. I'm like, man, listen, I'll be right in the mix.
Well, because there's that double standard, right? And I have no objection. You got a teacher in high school, right? A man banging a student legally, right?
I'm listening to you.
Okay, yeah. Legally. She's 18. He can legally do whatever the fuck he wants. He gets found out. He gets fired. He's got to go to a new school, maybe even get a new fucking career. A woman does it. She might get fired. She might have to get a new thing, but everybody's high-fiving that kid. Everybody's high-fiving that boy that smashed, Miss Johnson, who teaches American history, that all the other guys want to smash.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because men have a much higher propensity for violence and destruction. That's why. Even if the boy's he's 18 and she's 40 or whatever, that's just what it is, man. Some of us got penises, some of us got vaginas. It's just that's just what it is. If you're a 40 or 50-year-old teacher, don't fuck with your students.
Right.
Or if you want to fuck with a student, nigga, go to another college that you're not a part of. You know what I'm saying? You be out there, be creepy. Go to their lunchroom. But that's just what it is. It's wrong. Well, I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's a double standard. But men are. It's crazy. Like they say, women mature faster than men. Like a 15-year-old girl has a much higher maturity level than a 15-year-old boy. But if a 30-year-old man has sex with a 15-year-old girl, that's a crime. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's take it out of the realm of elite. Let's get the statutory, the illegal shit out. An 18-year-old woman is supposed is viewed as having more maturity than an 18-year-old boy. But if a 40-year-old man sleeps with an 18-year-old girl, he's looked as a pervert. But if a 40-year-old woman sleeps with an 18-year-old boy, she's seen as Stella get her groove back. Yeah, but that's just how it is.
Right.
Like we know what the double standards are, and if you make certain decisions in the society, if you're 40 and you fucking with somebody that's 18 and you're a man, that's a girl, yes, it's legal, but society's still going to treat you accordingly. You know,
right?
Just like if you're an 18-year-old young man, you fucking with a 40-year-old chick, they looking at you like a stud, and they looking at her like, hey, she getting her groove back. You know, that's just what it is, man. It sucks that we was born guys. That's what the fuck we got to deal with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
We get paid more though, which is nice.
Oh yeah. Well, because we run everything.
Yeah.
We created 98% of the thing. We've written 98% of the laws. We've created 98% of the infrastructure. So it's like, why the fuck we going to create? And when I say we, I just mean men in general. Why the hell we going to create all this shit and then give the advantage to somebody else? That doesn't make no sense.
Right.
You don't. If you're a loving father, you have children. You don't have kids and then treat the kids next door better than your own kids at home. It goes back to the law that I said in the beginning. And it's a metaphor to the first law of nature of self-preservation. You understand what I'm saying? So when you create something for yourself, you're trying to preserve yourself first, and then you help you spread out. So of course, men are going to have a higher wage because we're the ones that created everything. If women want a higher wage in their industries, they have to start developing their own industries and being the bosses and the leaders and the people that write those laws out. And that's what changes it. It's not going to change by them saying, "Oh, this is wrong, you should change it." No, power is something that has to be taken. You got to do that yourself. And that's how you change the wage gap. They got to stop asking for handouts and ask for help, and they have to actually create infrastructure and do it themselves. That's how they create, or if they want to make it fair, you know what I'm saying? If they want to have everybody be on the same level, you're not going. How the fuck you want to convince somebody that's super rich with like minimal morals to be fair and pay everybody the right way?
Right.
Fuck for. I created this shit. I don't got to do nothing. Matter of fact, get the fuck out of here. You don't want this job. You don't want the 70% pay that I give you. You can get zero and get the fuck out of here. But they're the ones that created that shit. It's their kid. You know what I'm saying? It's theirs. No? Yeah.
What I find is that a lot of men are willing to suffer for some shit that they think will happen. They have a longer time horizon when it comes to achieving something. Whereas women,
Hell yeah.
they can do the same shit, but a lot of them want to have kids. They want to settle down. They want to get married. So, and that's their thought process. Thank God for them, because if not, there'd be none of us. But that's why there's been not all, but most technological advances have come from men sitting around thinking, smoking cigars. How can we make money? How can we do this? For fucking a long period of time until they're 50, 60, like we were saying. Whereas women, a lot of them, there's plenty of them that do that as well. But most of them, once they get to a certain age, 30 years old, they're like, clock's ticking. If I want to have a kid, it better be soon, you know?
Yo, you only 24 years old. How the fuck are you this wise? That shit's insane. Because that the way you broke that down, I've never thought about it like that. Because we're all human beings, so we all have the same intellectual capability. We don't all have the same physical capability between male and female, but intellectually we do. So it makes perfect sense. Like, if you're thinking about raising kids and things of that nature, you don't have time to like really think about being creative as far as like technological advances. Your main goal is to, is to raise your children and educate your kids.
Right.
But as a man, your main goal is obviously you don't carry the baby or whatever. You don't breastfeed. So you out there, you're being a provider. You're trying to create different ways to make it as comfortable as possible for your family. So that fucking is that's actually pretty goddamn profound, man. You gotta put a pin on this whatever moment we're at. I gotta cut that out and put that up there, because that was some deep shit for a 24-year-old man. But see, I was like you when I was your age too. I used to think, even though I made a ton of dumb decisions, but I was always on some esoteric, deep intellectual shit. So yeah, man, kudos, man. I respect that, man. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I like to read. That might help.
Nah, that's a major component, reading. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, just to switch topics and shit, because,
that's all good.
We, the cool thing about these podcasts is that it gives us a big piece of content. We're going now. We're on an hour now. We've been going for about an hour, and this whole thing will be on YouTube. But there's so many pieces that you can create into little pieces of content, which is why this podcast game is helping anybody that wants to do it, but especially comedy. Yeah.
We probably got right now the hour or so we've been doing this. We probably got like 5 or 6 good quotables that we could put on TikTok, just like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, when did you start Momentary?
I started that, I want to say, maybe at the end of 2020.
Okay.
It's only like 9 episodes. It's not that many. Like, I'll go hard for a couple of weeks, and I really, even if I don't do like the whole hour, every day I should still come on and just rant for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
On something, just to keep the content going. I have to treat it like I have to be more serious with it and treat it like a career. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's something I should do. Because I'm always on Facebook. I'm always ranting and doing shit. Like, I'm always doing that. You know what I'm saying? So what I could probably do, actually, I can go YouTube live, so I don't got to worry about editing and nothing like that. I'm going to make it a point to do that more often. I have to. But yeah, I started that at the end of 2020. The light skin perspective, I started that in like March of 2020. Literally right after COVID started. We was all in the house, so we was like, fuck it. Motherfuckers was getting creative, doing food reviews and all kinds of shit. Learning different languages.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, learning how to edit and all kinds of stuff. So yeah.
I find that doing this, now my show has kind of changed a little bit. It used to be, Mondays I would do a half hour, just me, and then Thursdays would be a guest for an hour plus. Now, because I moved to a place where I don't know a ton of people, I still do the Zoom episodes here and there like we're doing, but a lot of the time it's just me. And now I'm going an hour on Mondays and an hour on Thursdays if I don't have a guest. But what I'm finding...
I ain't going to cut you off, but I do want to do it with you in person, pause. But I do want to do a podcast with you in person, though.
Yeah.
We're going to do that. I'll let you know when you know what I'm saying, the next time.
Yeah.
We want to, after we do this, like, give it like a month or something like that.
Definitely.
And then, but crazy shit happen in the news all the time. So sometimes, like, it's something we really got to talk about, and then we're going to do it. Like, we'll do it in person for the next time. Definitely. Yep.
Yeah, no, we will definitely. But what I find from just consistently doing a show like this is not only are you working your comedic muscle because you're trying to come up with shit on the fly. You might have notes on what you want to talk about, but you're trying to come up with something. But you're also working the speaking muscle.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're talking for 2 hours a week, which is where I'm at now, it's like you get pretty fucking good at speaking to people.
Just speaking in general, and that shows in your stage. Like you have one of the clearest, like as far as delivery, like an enunciation. Like you have a mastery of the English language, and this, talking all the time contributes to that. So it's evident in your stage work, man. Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's also, and again, we might as well get to it now. This is a perfect way to get to it.
Yeah.
It's also an influence thing. Whoever especially when we're first starting, right? I know you said I've been doing it 7 years on and off, but realistically, I only count the consistent effort that I've made in the past year as my time in comedy.
No, I can dig it.
Yeah. So for me, especially when you start, and maybe you could think back to when you first started, you really, really try to encapsulate whoever your influences are in your act.
Yeah.
You almost do it too. Almost do it too much,
Yeah. So even to this day, if you listen to me, like sometimes when I'm talking, there's a lot of Dave in there, a lot of Dave Chappelle. Like
yes, I was going to say that.
Now, I'm not saying I'm a closeted homosexual, but I have found a loophole in the system. Like I have a punchline and I deliver it in that way. And I'm doing like Dave, or if I'm getting real animated, like the Patrice O'Neal come out. When I what's the bit where I was saying, they say if you get your money right, you get your abs, and you get XYZ, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna get some better women. I say you're gonna get better women, but they still ain't gonna respect you. And I'll tell you, and I'll give you a prime example: Bill Gates divorce, Jeff Bezos divorce, Kanye West divorce. What else? I changed it up a little bit, and I was like, Will Smith. Wife out of pocket like a motherfucker. D Wade, his wife out transform his son to a girl. Johnny Depp, his wife shit on his bed. But the whole point of like the energy that I'm bringing, I'm channeling a Patrice. I'm channeling Sam Kinison. You understand what I'm saying? I'm channeling. Yeah. So I'm 9 years in, and I still don't have my own voice, man. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Right. And I think people don't realize how much of a process it is to actually do that.
God, yeah.
To start with damn near nothing, right? To start as just a fan of comedy.
Yeah.
Or a fan of music, or a fan of whatever art form you're trying to get better at. And then there's like a certain year period, everybody's different, but a certain year period of you doing everything that person does or those people do because you know that it worked. You know that that guy, you know that Patrice got huge, you know that Dave got huge because of whatever the fuck they were doing. And you're like, I want to do some shit as similar to that as I can.
Yeah. And
then as time goes on, you're able to develop your own voice, which again, like we're saying, very tough.
Yeah. But it takes time, and it's all about the repetition in order to get like to that particular point, man. It definitely takes time, man. But, yeah.
Yeah. But when we were talking about earlier, and you were commenting on how I speak and that type of thing, my main influences are George Carlin, who was the master of speaking in general.
That's one of mine too.
Yeah. Yep. And then Hicks. Another one who could speak like a motherfucker and had some shit. The darker, the better for me. You know what I'm saying? I love that shit.
Right.
So you can really see the influence. And I've always been a proponent, and maybe you have as well, as finding whoever, this guy does this the best, he does this technique the best, I'm going to copy him. I'm going to do it closely,
Like my callbacks, like I do a lot of callbacks now. I got that from Earthquake. Earthquake is a master at callbacks, man.
Yes.
He'll just say one thing and then a tag. Not callback, but tags. I'm sorry. Tag. Dave Chappelle is the master at the callback. Dave Chappelle, my bad. But the tag, he'll tag up a joke like a mug, man. He'll just say one punchline and just add to it. Like I got the joke about the elderly women where I was like, on dating apps. I said I met this elderly chick. No, I'll be matching with chicks that's like 60, and their caption says, "I'm looking for a long-term situation." And I'm like, bitch, but you got a short-term life. That's the punchline, right? Tag. Better take this short-term dick. Tag. Yeah. She only got about 5 more minutes. Tag. She gonna be dead before murder she will go off. Tag. Is that oatmeal raisin cookies? Tag. She know I'm allergic to that shit. Tag. But that's grandma, though, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Those are tag. I learned all that from Earthquake, yo. He mastered that. And it's crazy because if you listen to what he said, like a lot of times, it's not even profoundly funny like the tags. But the thing is, the tags are so relatable to what he just said, and they're already laughing. It's like hypnosis. Once you got the crowd going and they laughing, at that point, whatever you say is funny. So once the punchline really hits, pepper it up. Say 2 or 3 things that relate, like a word association that relates to the last thing that you said. Like my joke about it's a dating app joke again, but I was like I met this chick on chicks be lying about their age or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I met this one chick and she lied and said she had a turkey neck, right? She had a turkey neck. She had great ginger hair, and she was, you know what I'm saying, and whatever. And I told her a couple of jokes. I made her laugh, and she went. I said, "Fuck!" I said, "Did this bitch just that was a punchline?" I said, "Did this bitch just gobble? That's a tag. Thanksgiving, like in a couple of months, tag. What I got to bring? Cranberry sauce to the first date, tag. Gravy cologne, tag. She want me to stuff a bird, tag. You know what I'm saying? She my cemetery Cinderella, tag. You know what I mean? Her slippers and stuff. I put like 9 tags on that joke, man.
Right.
But that's a technique you can take. Like any punchline that you have, go back. And I'm not saying you got to do that with every joke. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to overkill it because it's a special move that you use every time. But go through a lot of your set lists. Go through a lot of your punchlines. Go through some of your big punchlines. And see, is there 2 or 3 comments that I can make that relates to that punchline to add to the laughter? You know what I'm saying? So that's a little, you know, I'm always giving tips and tidbits and shit, but that's just something to think about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. One of the funniest things I heard Earthquake say was, he goes, Lincoln didn't free the slaves, polyester did. I thought that was the funniest shit I ever heard.
It don't make no sense, but it's just funny, man.
Yeah.
And it's how he talks too.
Yes, that's a huge. That's
like the greatest comics.
No, go ahead.
You know, I'm gonna give you a prime example. Norm Macdonald, rest in peace, a genius, man. But a lot of his stuff is like, yes, he was clever or whatever, but the stuff that sold his jokes was how he talked. Like, if you want to see how funny Norm Macdonald is, try to do one of your jokes in his voice.
Yeah.
Like I got an example. My girlfriend broke up with me because she wanted me to wait 90 days until it was and I made it. Yeah. I made it to the finish line, and when it was time to pick my flowers, she wanted me to use the condom. And I told her I can't use condoms because it messes with my pH. And by pH, I mean penis hardening. Now it's like, I would never tell it in that style, but sometimes it's how you. Oh, Bill Cosby, same thing. Crazy delivery. My girlfriend broke up with me because she wanted me to wait 90 days until it was time to do the damn thing. And I made it to the finish line. And when it was time to collect my trophy, she wanted me to use condom. Unfortunately, I can't use condoms because it messes with my pH. And by pH, I mean penis hardening.
How about
broke up with me? Huh?
How about Robin Harris?
Oh yes. My girlfriend, I'm going through right now. My girlfriend, she broke up with me. Yes. My girlfriend broke up with me recently because she wanted me to wait 90 days until it was, time to make ribbon. I made it. I made it to the finish line. And surprisingly, she wanted me to use a condom. And I told her, baby, I can't use a condom. It messes with my pH. And by pH, I mean penis hardening. Oh yes. I don't know how he was able to keep up that pace, because me just doing that made me out of breath like a motherfucker.
I think you just did Robin Williams.
Oh, you said Robin Harris?
Yeah, Bebe's kids.
Oh, my bad. my bad, I did the wrong one. I thought you said, so Robin Harris is, because Robin Harris is very similar to Bernie Mac, because Bernie Mac basically
yes,
but damn, I can't, because I'm gonna, if I try to do it, I'm gonna do Bernie Mac. I gotta hear some Robin to get it. Yeah.
Well, I was using him as another guy who, just the shit that he says, his voice, he could read the phone book.
Yeah.
He could read the phone book.
What did he say at House Party? He was like, when he was talking to AJ Johnson, rest in peace, another one, that comic that just passed from Friday. I actually did a show with him last May. In New Jersey. But anyway, he said, they don't even got to follow. He said, if the police was looking for you, they don't got to look for you. They just follow the drip, because he had a jury call. Follow the drip.
Yeah.
But I have to listen to, if I listen to his comedy, I'll be able to do it. But I'm going to wind up doing a motherfucking girl done broke up with me recently because he want me to wait 90 motherfucking days until it was time to do that love thing. You know what grown folk do. And the good thing is, you boy, I done made it to the finish line. I made it to the motherfucking finish line. This bitch want me to use a condom. I told her, I can't use no motherfucking condoms. You mess with my pH balance. And by pH, I mean penis hardening. You know, I'm 43 years old. Condom is like hot kryptonite, mother. Yeah, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
But it's how you deliver it.
Yeah.
My girlfriend broke up with me because she wanted me to wait 90 days. Ow! There was time to do the love thing, and I made it. She wanted me to use a condom. Condom fucks with my pH balance. That means penis. You know what I mean? It's all.
Yeah.
It's not like a lot of these comics, like they just have these. Every comic, like I don't know what's up with a lot of these alt comics, but all these comics, either the males want to be Anthony Jeselnik, and the females want to be Amy Schumer. And
yes,
not taking nothing away from them, but they're okay doing that. I don't want to hear you talking like this. The other day, me and the friends were hanging out, and we were like, "Wow, this is so cool!" Like a lot of comics don't understand. Like, yo, it's a performance. You don't talk, if you're hanging out with your friends, like the goal is to get the personality that you have in real life to translate it on stage, right? And if you hanging with your friends, you ain't talking like this. Hey, you want to go out and grab a couple brewskis so we can hang and do something? Now, if that's your character, like a John Mulaney or who Mark Norman. Mark Norman kind of like, you could tell like he got like a Norm Macdonald. You could tell it's like a little bit of Norm, maybe a little bit of Todd Berry. You could tell. But if that's the way you're talking, hey, and it's a funny thing, that's cool. But some of these comics, that's not even how they talk, and they think that's funny, and they suck because they don't have the jokes to back up that corny, monotone, like nerdy way of talking, you know?
Right. Another great thing about Norm is, because anytime I watch a comedy special or a set or whatever on TV from a seasoned pro. It's like I watch it to laugh, but I also watch it to kind of get something from it.
Yeah, to learn too, as a comics, especially.
Right. And Norm, something I always noticed was when he's on stage, he's talking and he's standing there and, he's doing his thing. It's almost as if the microphone was there by accident.
Yeah.
It's like...
Oh, he doesn't hold it, right?
He just stands there. It's like he's talking to a group of people, like it's like he's talking to like 10 people where he doesn't need a microphone. Yeah. And they just, okay, here's a microphone, here's a stage, talk, say the shit you were saying before. And he was one of those guys that absolutely lived to be funny all the time. Funny.
And he did it. He was effortless with it.
Effortless.
Like when people never watch him and they see Norm Macdonald and they think this corny white guy, like a couple of great comedians, they try to like not belittle him, but his name was mentioned and they kind of Norm, that shit ain't blah blah blah. And I say these people are speaking from a place of ignorance. Because like you watch his latest one where it wasn't even a special, he was just talking on the camera.
Yeah.
The shit was fucking, I watched it twice. I'm about to watch it a third time. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was just his timing impeccable, and even when he's like kind of stammering off and rambling, I think all that shit is written. All that stuff has a purpose. None of it is thrown away. And it's the delivery, it's the writing, it's the his facial expressions are fucking ridiculous. That's a big component in stand-up comedy is this shit right here, yo. Your face, like what you convey to try to sell your jokes. Like part of But like I think what is like 90% of communication is like body language. Body language is not just your body, but your facial expressions as well. Yes. You understand what I'm saying? So, but he had that shit mastered, man. Like some of the best comics, like we listen to their words and we appreciate their face, but we don't really think about it. But look at the facial expressions that they're making. Look at how they really selling that shit. And that's one thing that I'm really been trying to work on for like the last few months. So really trying to sell it with my face. Because yes, I'm a poet. I used to be a poet. So I'm good at getting up there, reciting shit, being rapid fire, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about the emotions because I'm a poet and you're impressed by my words. But as a comic, not only do they have to be impressed by your words, they have to laugh at what you say. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yep. And I find that, again, in the beginning, we have so much we want to say. We have so many words, like you had alluded to at the beginning of this conversation. When we start out, is a lot of words. We think that and then eventually you work the bit out, you condense it. But at first, you have so much you think you want to say, and you don't think that you'll lose the audience with all these words, but that's what happens.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it says brevity is something. I forget the quote, but it says brevity is something of wit, meaning that the quicker you can get to something that's funnier, the better that it is. But as you become a comic, you learn how to be funny, not just with the words, but how you say the words, the placement of the words, and the facial expressions that follow the words. And you realize, I can take out all these ands and all these does and all this setup and all this extra shit. I can take all that stuff out, man. You know what I mean? Like the joke about my girl, bro. This is a girlfriend breaking up with me. There's the extended version, like especially around Valentine's Day. I was like, I'm going through it. My girlfriend broke up with me 2 weeks before Valentine's Day because she wanted me to wait 90 days till it was time to do. I told her I can't do it because it fucks my pH balance. That's a pretty long setup, but it's pretty ridiculous. But the shorter version is my ex-girlfriend broke up with me because she wanted me to use condoms. I can't use condoms. It messes with my pH balance. I took out the Valentine's Day. I took out the 2 weeks ago. I took out everything, and I still got the same idea. Right. The same message. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more thing I wanted to mention about Norm.
Yeah, go
ahead. You got to watch the video. It's even funnier. Because, again, we were talking about being effortless and a comic who is funny all the time. You know Greg Fitzsimmons?
I've heard the name, but I haven't watched him. No.
Yeah. Very tight writing. Very, very tight writing. But he was doing a podcast with Norm, and he was doing a segment called "Talk Your Way Out of It," and Greg Fitzsimmons had this scenario, and Norm had to talk his way out of it. So the scenario was, all right, you're with a woman, you're in a room, you're gonna have sex, but she wants you to wear an afro. And while you're fucking her, she's going to scream out a bunch of racist shit the whole time. and Norm's like, all right. So we're doing it. And I'm wearing the afro and she's saying this stuff. And Greg Fitzsimmons is like, yeah. And then now she left her door unlocked and her black neighbor hears it and comes in, kicks in the door and says, what the fuck is this? How do you talk your way out of it? And Norm's like, all right, okay, so we're already doing it. And he's like talking, and then he's like, all right, so I got to talk my way out of it? Okay. I'd go, let's kill this honky bitch. He's like, come on, jive turkey, let's kill this honky bitch. It was hilarious.
That's fucking brilliant. That is brilliant.
So fucking good.
That's brilliant, right? Man. That's funny as shit.
Right off the top.
And let's kill this honky bitch.
Yeah.
That's dope, man.
And I look at him as an example of someone, and this is something I've always done, and maybe you have as well. Anything you get involved in, you kind of need to think like that thing, right? If you're gonna be a comedian, you got to kind of live and think like a. And
hell yeah.
He embodied that, definitely.
Oh no, he's phenomenal, man. If people just want to learn about like delivery and timing, he's one of the best, man. You know what I mean? Like, and he'll talk about the most random shit, but when you start as a comic, you're trying to write funny things.
Yeah.
But when you're experienced, you can make anything funny.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
That's a good point.
It's just how you say it. Like, yo, man, I went to work, man, and my feet was hurting. I had this bunion in my shoe. Like, whatever. It's just how you say it. I'm not going to try to freestyle like some whatever, but you get what I'm saying. Like, because it's how you say it. Like, all the great comedians, they have a certain way of how they say it in like a funny, like silly, exaggerated way. Yes, you take your personality to the stage. Like when you see me and I'm like hyper, and like, yo, these bitches be saying this crazy. Like that's an exaggerated version of who I am. And to me, I feel like in my mind, that's part of the charm. Like, damn, this nigga passionate. He really going in. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I still like people are impressed by that, but I still want to try to figure out how to be funnier in those moments. Right. So it's not just the passion and the energy that has you. It's the jokes too. You know, I'm still landing. I'm not saying I don't, but I know I got a lot of work though. I know I got a lot of work, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, that's a good attitude to have. And, you know, you definitely put in the work and you got so much time under your belt and so much time going forward. So,
man.
Listen, man, this was great. I'm happy we got to figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you said, next time we'll try and put it together in person.
Yeah, for sure.
No biggie. Do you have anything you want to promote before we close this out?
For promotion, today this is date. I don't know when you're going to drop this, but I have an open mic every Monday in Bloomfield, Connecticut called Mo Mondays Open Mic. The website is did I put it on here? momonday.eventbrite.com if you're interested, if you're in the Bloomfield, Connecticut area. And then I have a show at that same place for 2 weeks from this current day that we're filming on June the 12th. So on the 26th, it's Sunday. It's sundaycom.eventbrite.com. And Karina Ford from New Britain, Connecticut, she's going to be headlining that show. Karina's actually living in Atlanta. She's been there for the last 2 years. And she's been in like been doing like a lot of extra work and a lot of stuff. She's in Ozark. She's in the new Spider-Man. Yeah, she's a new Spider-Man. She's in BMF. She was on divorce court. So Karina's coming out to do her thing within 2 weeks. And those are the main ones that I can think of off the top of my head right now, though. You know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking I'll probably put this out for tomorrow for everyone listening. That's today. For the people listening.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah. So that means if you are in Bloomfield, there's a mic tonight. If you need, somewhere to go, we got that.
Every Monday.
Where's it at?
It's in Bloomfield, Connecticut. It's I had it right in front of me. It's 34 Tunxus Avenue, Bloomfield, Connecticut, 06002.
There you go. We'll put links, the whole thing. Social media. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Comedian Mo Green on all platforms. MOGREEN, Comedian Mo Green, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Grindr. You know what I'm saying? That's my name. That's the name of all of my social media platforms.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for playing along. As far for me, what do I got? Wednesday, I got Metric in Bridgeport. If you're around, show up.
Nice.
My man Jackson putting that together.
Who's running that show at Metric? Jackson?
Jackson, yep.
How'd you get on that show?
Think?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he does. You've been to the Best Western?
Nah, I haven't been. It was crazy because I was on a show, but I didn't. I had to work. I didn't show up or whatever. Yeah. I had a guest spot a few weeks back, but I've heard about it. How's that crowd?
Non-existent, but it's kind of turned into an open mic at this point, which is nice on a Friday night. Tough to find an open mic in Connecticut.
Yeah, that's true.
But Jackson was there.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he must have liked what you did.
Yeah, well, I met him the first time I was there. He was hosting it the first time I was there. Mm-hmm. And he had mentioned, he's like, I'll put you up on Wednesday, and then I followed him on Instagram. Jackson always
gives opportunities. He gave me my first opportunity in New York City. You know what I'm saying? So he will give opportunities. He definitely will. He's one of my comedy mentors. So much love and respect to Jackson, man.
Very nice guy.
Mm-hmm. And what else you got going? I didn't mean to cut you off because you were talking about your dates and stuff. So.
No, it's all good. I only got that one, and then I got Broadway Comedy Club doing the industry room. So
nice.
That'll be fun. That's Saturday. So if you show up, yeah, that's it, motherfuckers. We're done. Thank you, sir.
Get out, man. Yep.
I appreciate you guys. Peace. Hey, I'm back to reiterate all the stuff that I said at the top of the show. Follow and subscribe. Bye-bye.